join me here today for this Tips Tuesday / Transformation Tuesday. As I've talked about on previous videos, I'm going to start going through a little bit about what I do, trying to change up my makeup style, trying to do different things and go through that in a bit more detail. Now, just to kick off for today, what I've done so far is I have applied most of my base layer. So I've used my Camouflage Cream, the Kryolan Dermacolor in D32, that's my beard cover. I've set that with my Airspun Coty powder. I have then applied over the top of that a layer of my MAC foundation, which is my NW20 Studio Fix Fluid. So this is my lighter shade, which is more of a winter shade for me. That's been applied over the top once I'd set the beard cover with this. Before then applying powder, I then apply my contour. So I'm using my contour, which is the Kryolan contour. This is in Tan 5, the Ultra Foundation, and my highlight, which is the Fair Olive, again, Kryolan Ultra Foundation. Applying the highlight to the bridge of the forehead, the chin, down the jaw, under the eyes, and a little bit into the eye socket as well. The contour is applied to the top of the forehead up here, slightly down the jawline, and the bridge of the nose, just to sort of define the nose, etc., get it looking a bit sharper, and then down the cheeks. So effectively coming down the cheeks here, you can see where that's contoured in. Having blended that out using my blending sponges, one for highlight, one for contour, so blend that all out, and then apply your setting powder. So I use the same Airspun setting powder. I put the actual foundation, the MAC foundation, all over the eyes, contoured on top just to get some highlight, actually highlight up in here. So you can see a little bit lighter, and then I've set the whole face, and that's basically where I am now. I went on to add a couple other bits and pieces. So I've already applied my blush. So I've used my MAC blush. Can't see it very clearly. It's a bit pallid in this room today, but I've applied my MAC blush. I've also applied my bronzing powder. Again, anywhere where I did the contouring, so top of the forehead, down the cheeks, jawline, a little bit on the side of the nose, just to try and redefine that properly. And then a little bit of the shimmer shine powder on top, which I always do for the cheeks. So that's basically got me set up. That's a summary of everything I've done to get to where I am today. I've done nothing to my eyebrows, and I've done nothing to my eyes at all. That's my natural eyeline. Essentially, this is my base all completed. Now, what I'm going to try and do today is I'm going to try to look at different products that I have and how I can do something a little bit interesting in terms of makeup, and try and go through the whole eye process. I'm going to start by applying a sort of base layer to my eyes. I'm then going to have a look at different shading techniques that I will use, or trying to do something a little bit sort of using different colors, different products that I bought recently, and see how well they go, see how much I like those. But just try to take my time with this and see how well I can do this. I'll condense lots of it down into quick cuts and stuff, but I'll try and do a little bit of talk about it. Now, so as you can see with my face, there are some obvious areas you can see quite clearly now, you know, where I've got my old man wrinkles under the eyes and some hooding on my eyes. You know, if I were to actually sort of pull that up and back, you know, you might be looking to sort of pull all this back. But either way, I'm still going to have hooding and that kind of stuff. So I have all those typical getting older things that you have to try and deal with, and whatever. And particularly you can see under the eyes where it can be quite puffy in here. So if I don't do something to cover that, it can be quite obvious, especially when you've got foundation stuff on it, and it can be really quite obvious. It looks like you look like you're your age. You actually age you up. Whatever, can't do anything about that. So let's start with my eyes. Now I've got a couple of palettes here with me today. I'm going to just show you this beautiful tin. This is my tin of various different eyeshadows and stuff that I have, pigments. These are mostly my pigments in here actually. So I've got these different products from Give Face, which I've talked about. And I have my MAC pigments. I have my NYX pigments as well. So a few little bits and pieces. Pigments last for ages. So I thought I'd do something to try to branch out and do something really quite different with sort of more vibrant, interesting shades. And for today, I feel like trying something quite out there. I've got this fuchsia shade from MAC. It's a very pinky shade. I have this shade which is called Fiery, from Give Face. Interesting. And I've got this Bruise shade, which is another interesting sort of reddish colour. So I might just try something, see what happens. But I'll start with a base layer. So for my bases, I use my MAC palette, which is this MAC palette. This has all of my sort of copper, browns, beige type tones in it. It's really good as a general base palette. And I'm going to start with one of my terribly cheap brushes. Okay. And I'm just going to start by putting in some basic colours. Let's go with the shade Vanilla Extract, which is this one here. So, actually I'll get a cleaner brush. These brushes are by no means the best. They're very soft bristled. So I do need to get some better brushes to be able to actually apply this. But I'm going to have a crack with this and see how this goes. So we'll start just by applying a sort of general layer all over the eye, just to get a sort of general base colour in there. So I'm going to use this as my general blending brush for today. It's a cheap brush, so I'm just going to use this for all of my blending. I'm going to be using this MAC brush, which is the 217S. I'll be using this to actually apply stronger pigments to the eyes. So basically what I'm doing, fine, and this I'll use to blend everything out and try to achieve a good overall seamless look. Okay, so let's think about some colour. So for today, I'm going to go for something quite unusual for me, which is I'm going to go for a reddish tone, and I'll see what I can do in terms of applying that effectively. So I've got two pots here. These are from Give Face. This is the Fiery and Bruise colours. Fiery is mica colour, so it's a bit sparkly, and Bruise is a matte colour. So I'll put a little bit of this Fiery colour onto this brush, apply it where I want it to be, which is going to be on the edge, on the outside edge here, and a little bit on the inside. And then I'll use my blending brush to try to blend that all out and layer that up and see how we go with this style. So it's my first time using this colour. Let's hope for the best. So in hindsight, given how delicate this colour is, I think I probably in future would just apply this as the shade into the eye socket, just to sort of build it up without bothering with the vanilla colour first, which is the first colour I put on from my MAC palette. So I think I'd probably just go straight ahead with this colour, because it is quite delicate. It's sort of pretty pink. I'll try the other shade. So I'm not sure what this is going to do. This may not be the wisest decision. But I also have this shade called Bruise, which I believe is going to add a sort of reddish brownish tinge to the outside of this, and we'll see how it goes. Now, I may hate this. Let's see. That's actually much better. I like that. That colour's really added something different. So I like that. That's a much better colour for me. So I prefer this darker colour. So the bruise colour, which is more of a matte. In fact, logically speaking, I should have put this on first anyway, because the sparkly colours tend to be weaker. I know you can dip water in and make them better, etc., etc. But I find the sparkly colours tend to be a bit weaker. This is quite nice. It's a very different colour for me. I've never worn this kind of colour before, but I quite like this. And okay, now try and make it better without ruining it. So let's have a think. I'm going to apply black into the corners, just to try to darken up the outer edges, because we're going to have a fair bit of black on here anyway. So for that, I'm going to use again this pigment. This is China. It's a matte pigment from Give Face. I've got this one is only ever used for black. So if I apply a little of this, okay, and we'll see. First time I've used this, let's see how well this sort of blends in with everything else and darkens this up. Okay, so lesson learned very quickly. When I put this onto my brush, I applied to one side then the other. Now, that meant the majority of the product, in my opinion, came off on this eye and not on this eye. And now when I'm blending, I've got a lot less product over here, and it's actually blending better. And I think I would have to say that I used too much initially. So I'm going to have to do what I can to blend this out. I've probably got enough on in general, just that I feel I probably used too much. It would have been better to build up slowly. Okay, not too bad there. So I want to bring this out. I want to bring this black further out. Okay, that's actually not too bad. Different for me for sure. Unusual for me. Not the best application in the world. But not too bad either. So, let's do something of a cut crease and try to do something on the inner eye. So I'm going to block this in with my highlighter in Fair Olive, the Ultra Foundation. Let's get a bit out on one of these little very short firm bristle brushes and just Just do whatever you need to do to pull the skin taut and get that colour on there. We're then going to apply on top of that our big sort of colour and then blend that in with the black. So I'm really in two minds about this today. Should I go for a big pink? I'm going to go for this pink from MAC, which is a pigment. Colour is fuchsia, and I'm just going to block that in. So I'll take a sort of finish brush. This one will do. Drop that into my pigment. Just tap that off in the lid. And let's try to apply this. Okay, that's not too bad actually. What I'll do now is I'm just going to take my black, I'm just going to very slightly blend that in. Just very slightly blending those two together, pulling the black over really. In fact, I used the one I applied it with. Just pulling the black over the top slightly to just slightly blur that line. Okay, so that's our completed over eye area. I'm going to link this up with some dark colours underneath. I'm going to put some of that underneath as well. So if I take a little of this black again, and I'm going to apply that underneath the eye. This is just the black pigment we used earlier from Give Face in the colour China. I'm just going to pull that round under the eye slightly. This is very strong stuff. And I'm just going to try and see if I can put some of this lighter pigment under the eyes there. So again, I'll take some of my foundation just to give it something to grip to. And then take some more of the pigment. Okay, I'm going to use my MAC 210 brush with my MAC lowlights to do my waterline. Okay, looks alright. I'm going to go for now, okay, let's do my eyebrow. So for my eyebrow today, I'm going to use this Brow Artist from L'Oreal. It comes with these dinky little tools, like a tiny little brush for your natural lash, like so. How cute. But basically you have a wax on one side and then a powder on the other. You apply the wax first and then use the same brush to apply the powder. So the wax effectively coats the hairs and gives the powder something good to grip to. So for highlighting your natural hair, it's quite useful. I'm going to use this pencil, which is from Give Face. It can be used for lips or whatever else. I'm going to try and see if I can do a decent point with this one. Okay, it's a slightly stronger colour than I'd normally go for. I think I prefer the brown on me, so I'll stick to brown in future. That's come out a little bit black, but it's okay. Next, wings. I'm going to do the inner wing this time. Okay, so that's eyes basically done. Different style today. The colour's not standing out quite so bright, but I'll take some pictures and stuff and show kind of what it looks like when it's all together. But it's not bad, and I'm quite happy with that. Unusual colours for me. I don't normally do a lot of these pinky colours, reddish colours, but that's not too bad. It's quite a sort of striking look, a bit much for the daytime, but otherwise not too bad. Okay, so on the lip front, I have these shades, this sort of greenish shade, which I'm intrigued by. But then I have these sort of NYX pink shades, sort of pinks through to purples, blues, kind of orangey colours. I'm tempted to try something totally different. Let's go black liner with a grey and silver lipstick. So this is from Give Face. It's a colour called Unusual. Let's see how this goes. In fact, because I've got this silvery tone, I may well try to combine them slightly. I wonder. I'll see. I'll try and combine them, and if I can't, I may just blend them out completely. So the silvery tone is I'm going to do the silvery tone in the middle, see how that works. And then the unusual colour around the edge. Let's see how that goes. Well, that's good. I like it. Very unusual. Cool. Okay, so that was what I've been doing today. Just to cover up on my eyes. So gone through everything today. I have been using mostly Give Face products on my eyes and on my lips today. So just to cover off those last two, the silver colour in the middle is Attitude, and the dark grey colour around the edge is Unusual. And it certainly is. But I really like that. That's a very different look for me. It's kind of punk-ish. Yeah, kind of punkish. But it's good. Anyway, so what I'm going to try and do in future, like I said, I'm going to try and do different styles, change things up, do things very differently. You'll be able to see just how much I record everything on one day and then distribute them throughout the week, because with unusual makeup styles like this, it'll be very obvious when I'm doing multiple videos with the same makeup. However, I'm enjoying this. It's a good challenge. What I was going to ask from you is this. If you made it all the way through to the end of this video, then congratulations. And I wanted to say, have you got any ideas of things you'd like to see me try? So suggestions of styles of makeup. I can either do it open to interpretation, such as like a sort of punk style, or I don't know, like a Barbie style. I don't know, whatever. But if you give me a suggestion, I'll certainly try and do it. Or perhaps more usefully, if you send me a picture of a eye makeup style or lip style, some kind of overall look, I'll try and replicate that. What I am very much not good on today is changing my base. So my base is kind of, my idea for this year is I'm going to leave my base alone. So I'm going to keep my base makeup as it is, contouring, etc., and focus on eyes and lips, because that's where the most striking difference comes from. So eye styles, whether it's a YouTube video or even just a picture, send me something and I'll have a go at it, because I'm never going to, I may have to learn a new technique in order to be able to do something. But for example, the technique of doing my the cut crease here, I've only done that twice. The second time I've ever done it. It's not hard. It creates a really nice, interesting, bold look with everything else. But it's not difficult to do if you have the right products and you know what you're doing. Anyway, give me your suggestions. If there's anything you want to see from me in the future, please do let me know. I hope this video was useful to you. I'm going to keep doing these hopefully on a weekly basis, trying to show you my process as I go through trying new and different things, where I perhaps don't do so well, where I do really well, and hopefully I'll do well more often than not. We'll see. Anyway, thanks for joining me here today. Look forward to talking to you all again soon. Feel free to like, share and subscribe. Click the little bell to stay notified of upcoming videos. And I look forward to talking to you all again soon. Thanks so much and bye. Bye.